It's the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Welcome to the weekend production on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We call it The Zone. It is our mission to try to bring you some news you can use. Today is no exception to that rule. Follow me on X at The Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And do visit our website at obnradio.com for our 24-hour stream. With all that being established, let us jump right into today's episode. We got a big weekend in the world of college basketball. The Southwestern Athletic Conference will open up its conference play today, and it will be some very intriguing matchups. We have the Prairie View A&M University Panthers opening up against the Grambling State Tigers. Now, we do know with the latest upheaval with the Grambling's women's basketball program with the 159-18 victory over their opponents, College Biblical Studies basketball program, an upstart program. And depending on which side of the fence you were on, people were going back and forth saying that was an extreme. Some say bad karma's going to come back. And then when you listen to the soundbite of the head coach for the Tigers, say, hey, we take our bumps and bruises as well as part of developing, growing up, learning as a team. You still have to go out there and compete and do the necessary things it takes for you to get better and try not to be embarrassed in such a case as this. I really and truly, I believe that if you get out there, you go out there and compete and you do the very best that you can. It is college basketball, college athletics. I don't know. I was not there, did not witness the game itself if they had a continued running clock, because technically this becomes more like an exhibition game when you see to a point that it's just an overwhelming task for one opponent over the next. I don't know how they worked it out, but nonetheless, all that will be settled today as the Panthers and the Tigers will get together. Should be equal field of play, and you'll see how Grambling come out with the women on that. So we'll be keeping you posted on those games. They'll be tipping off, if I'm not mistaken, it is 3 p.m. for the women, and the men will tip off at 5:30. Of course, Texas Southern will be opening up against the Southern Jags, and their times will be along the same times. Meanwhile, Bethune-Cookman will open up against the FAMU Rattlers. Both men and women had some successful runs in their non-conference play, so we'll see how they'll pair out over the course of their contest today. Alabama A&M will pair up against the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, both men and women. Alabama State will do battle with the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils. And last but not least, you'll have Jackson State and Alcorn doing battle on the hardwood. So it's here now, and it's time to get it on as we look forward to the start of this 2024 basketball season. And, of course, we got to circle the wagons around this football decision-making at Texas Southern University. It was reported that the board is requesting to meet with Brett Maxey for a further evaluation on whether or not he would be dubbed the Knight for the Texas Southern head football coach. Don't know how all that will be coming out here in the near future, but it is still a tangled web that we must keep a tab on to just let you know what's going on from Houston, Texas. Meanwhile, we told you how the FAMU Rattlers raised $100,000, and some of the people were requesting and kicking back, asking for some of their money back since Willie Simmons is moving on to Duke. And it got me to thinking with this NIL thing that we have going on and how we could really try to offset. Now, let's be honest. We are not going to be able to match apples to apples. And when I say we, I'm talking about FCS as a whole. We are not going to be able to touch anything remotely close to NIL, and we don't have the resources to apply NIL to all players. It's just not in the budget. No matter how you try to slice this thing up. Maybe you could if you offered each kid $50, but what's $50 going to do in this media today or this market today? But there is something that could offset the NIL on the FCS level. It's something that's been available, quite honestly, way before there was ever such thing called NIL. And it's simply called cost of attendance, stipend pay, or whatever it is. Now, across the gamut for Power Fives, the cost of attendance is roughly about $2,000 to $4,000 a year per player. Now, if we just look at the budgets alone, even at that bare minimum of $2,000, that would pretty much wipe out a lot of our FCS programs if you just did that on the basis of, say, 350 to 400 student athletes that you'd have to make this available for. This is something that all student athletes would have access to. Now, the NIL could be another piece altogether. I'm bringing all this together for the reference back to FAMU, with FAMU raising that $100,000. Okay, Willie Simmons is gone. How about using that as a kickstart for your NIL piece to help add, if there's a way to figure out how to incorporate this cost of attendance piece for, in the case of FAMU and all other Southwestern Athletic Conference schools, and for that fact, FCS programs. These are kind of like built-in calculated formulas. I don't know exactly the science of the formula, but they have these things available that you could somewhat tweak out. Now, you might not be able to give a kid $500 a month like you can on larger programs, but $150 a month for these kids, and they're already on some scholarship and financial aid, could go a long way. Now, when the dust settles, so it's at about $1,800 for the year, and that could make a huge difference in a student athlete's life, in a particular person who might not have the best of home situations. Even if they're not a lot, they can send a little bit back home, and you'll be amazed at how you can stretch out whatever needs to be stretched out. But this is a way that can bring somewhat stability to our world of collegiate athletics as we see it today. No, we'll never be able to match that money pool that's coming from the Power 5, Power 4 structure, but you can govern yourselves accordingly to what's available on your level. Now, I'm a big component of saying this, and I get kicked across the head sometimes about it, but let's be honest. FCS, HBCU programs are stepping stone programs. We give people opportunities. Some people use that opportunity to advance even further. Some people are totally happy in that realm, and both of them are perfectly fine. So what we have to do is to protect ourselves, and I'm a big component of getting all you can while you can. But there's an old saying, you can't get blood out of a turnip. That's why I believe with the budgets, I've already been giving you comparisons according to President Baker of the NCAA. Our top budget for the Southwestern Athletic Conference is not even on the tier of D2 budgets according to the numbers that came from the NCAA office. So then why are we continually getting ourselves trapped up playing these games? If you want to coach, this is just the world of Mike Prince, then setting a standard of understanding. If you want to coach on this level, do know and understand that your apex, my bar, will be $250,000. Well, Prince, man, you can't get no quality coaching for $250,000. Yes, you can. And the thing is, once that quality coach reaches its apex on this stick scale, they move up to the next scale, whether it is going to be in the Group 5 or the Power 4 structure. But you can't continually raise yourself going back to the cupboard when there's nothing in the cupboard to try to sustain and keep this status quo. When you look at the numbers, no one's making any money truly off of athletics on this level. So you got to maintain it. If you go up and down the budgets, depending on who you look at, and just off the top of my head, there was one men's basketball program that actually reported a profit for the actual accounts for that operation of that sport. And when I say account, coaches' salaries, whatever expenses, travel, lodging, all of that. There was only one Southwestern Athletic Conference school that showed a profit. And it's going to blow your socks off when you find out who it is. And guess who it is? Mississippi Valley. Mississippi Valley had about 100,000+ profit show in men's basketball. Now, they took a hit in men's football. So what am I saying? We don't have the finances for this. So we need to structure our world as we see it and know it in collegiate athletics. This is the bar if you're going to be a football coach. This is the bar if you're going to be a basketball coach. This is the bar if you're going to be a baseball coach or whatever coach on this level. If that is not to your pleasing, I do understand. I wish there was something more we could do, but we just can't do it. For example, going back to FAMU goes and they raise this $100,000, then guess what? You're going to have to do that every year to maintain. Now you're putting a strain on that. And then to if it doesn't work out to your favor, you have this outburst of give me my money back. Let's take that bill, that NIL nest, and if we go back and add this to the cost of attendance piece that we were talking about for the 150. Now, as we're structured, we can't give every kid an NIL, but you could select 2-3 players, just hypothetically speaking. So you pick an offensive, defensive, and special team player that you give an NIL deal to for representing of your football program. In basketball, you could probably pick 1 or 2 players to give an NIL deal to. And you can't go breaking the bank. Right now, according to the Power 4 structure, a starting quarterback is going to cost you anywhere between $500,000 and $2 million a year just in NIL. That's way above our pay grade. That's way above our pay grade. And I'm not knocking or coming down on us. That's just the way it is. You got the haves and the have-nots. Just because you happen to be in the have-not category doesn't mean that you are absolutely worthless. You just don't have as much to play with as the next person has to play with. So guess what? You adjust your budget accordingly. I might not be able to give you $500,000. I might not be able to give you $50,000. I can probably give you $5,000 over the course of a year, and that might be stretching it. But you work with what you have. And the bottom line is this. Everybody can't play Power 4. You can play collegiate sports, but guess what? If you fit in this realm, then that's your net worth, and that's what we begin to negotiate with. If you don't want to see that, don't want to use that, then I'm sorry, can't help you. Can't help you. And, go and build your own program, go play NAIA, D3, or whatever the case may be. I found it interesting, too. There are some NAIA teams or student athletes that hit the portal to make themselves available. So then, what's the net worth for an NAIA student? Is it the same as a Power 4? I would think not. Is it the same as a D1 FCS? I don't think it would be. Would it be the same as a D2, D3? I can't really answer that. So where does it begin? Where does it end? So when you get this cost of attendance formulated, worked out, and like I said, you're not going to be able to break the bank, but you'll be able to get a kid to get a pizza or 2 on the weekend, a couple of pops or whatever it's going to be. Go to the movie. I don't even know if they're going to the movies these days, but whatever the case may be, for a little light mile. Or it might be, if you're in a dire situation, send a little bit back to the homestead to help mom out with whatever you can help mom out with that. So we have a unique situation, some unique challenges that must be thoroughly checked out to see exactly how we can try to make this a win-win situation. But the reality of it is this: charity is going to begin at home. And if we would just take the initiative of just supporting our very own programs, and I was very impressed and had a glimmer of hope seeing what FAMU was able to do within that very short window of turning around $100,000. I don't know how many people actually gave to that cause, but could you imagine if you just had, I'm going to put 1,000 people to commit to $100 annually just for an NIL seed for whatever institution you're representing. 1,000 people at $100 a year annually. That's $100,000 right there. And that's not a really hard reach or hard ask, even in this, what we would call recession that we're dealing with right now. 1,000 people committing to $100 for supporting your school's athletic program. And you say, okay, as long as we know it's going to where we're earmarking this thing is going towards athletics, I'm all for that. Let's make this happen. Could you imagine that little boost could help your school get that chosen player to help you get over that hump? Because our goal, if you ask any athletic director in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, you ask any head football coach, is to A, win the SWAC championship, B, win the Celebration Bowl. If that's our goal, let's adjust and come to reality of making those things happen. Those are achievable. We won't have the $2 million quarterback, the $500,000 quarterback, but we'll have some strong competition from A to Z to truly make this thing happen. I was telling you guys throughout the course of this week, I'm doing a little research and digging on some pretty good topics. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into this NIL piece I'm talking about, but this is just something off the surface to get you in the realm of thinking on how we could collectively make this a win-win, not in particular just for your institution, but for all involved institutions. And here's one that I'm working on and looking on, and I know you're not going to like this, but I'm out there now, so I might as well say it. Do we really consider going to D2? I know we don't want to hear that one, but we'll say that for later. I got another topic that I really got to get off my chest, and it is so disturbing to me, and hopefully it'll make sense to you later. We're in a totally different stratosphere right now. I can't just say we're in a total different stratosphere right now on acceptance, equality, politically correctness, and all that. And I get it, and I'm truly for that. But there comes a point to where you have to say that enough is enough. And you got to draw the line somewhere. The National Boxing Federation are, in my opinion, on the verge of doing something that'll be so egregious, it's to the point of no return. They are opening up the door of allowing transgender men to box with women. And that is really a bit vicious. And here's why I'm saying that. I can accept the fact that you say that you're going through that transitional period. That's okay. And they got it set up where they have to take like 48 months, if I'm not mistaken, of hormone changing deals to kind of bring the balance of estrogen and whatever other elements that will, make it balanced. But you're still dealing with an individual who was born as a man fighting a woman. I think that's borderline catastrophe. You really, Boxing Association, you got to really hit reverse on this thing, and I mean quick, fast, in a hurry. I boxed for a while coming up as a youth, and you don't have to box to know that boxing is a brutal sport. Boxing is not like running. I don't even think they should be, in track and field events with them, just because of their natural structure and muscle tone and whatever else makes it up. I'm not a scientist of that nature, but to be able to physically hit a woman, no way. I just don't see it. And maybe somebody can help me see it. I'm good and able to hit reverse. I'm not stuck on my way or no way. Please, if that's making sense to you, where you feel like that is a fair, balanced way, yeah, man, I don't see any problem with that, Mike. Let them do it. Please let me know. You can always contact me on X at the Mike Prince Show. You can call our 24-hour message line, 720-721-1558. Leave your voice message. Let us know what you think. You can even respond to our YouTube channel on the page. And while I'm doing that, I want to give a shout out to Brother Edwin. Brother Edwin, if you're listening, man, I truly, truly appreciate your feedback and your content. And I want to give an open invitation to you right now, Brother Edwin, that I would love to have you as a guest on the show. So you can look up through my, I almost said Twitter, but X, Twitter. You'll see my email, or you can go through the YouTube channel. You'll see the email contact. You can go through Spreaker. You'll see the email contact. Send me your contact information, sir, so we can at least dialogue, because I really appreciate some of the things that you bring to the table, and I would love to have you as a special guest on the show. It's an open door for you. I just wanted to get that out there. It was fresh on my mind, and I want to let you know how we appreciate you and others who send your comments, content, your donations. Look, man, we are independent. We're not trying to be anything that we're not. It's not about us. It's about us covering a brand that has been near and dear to me, that has impacted me individually as a young man coming out of St. Louis, Missouri, with an opportunity to broaden my athletic career, my educational career, and even my professional career. And I owe this as a labor of love back to this university at Prairie View, to this conference of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And as long as I have the breath in my body, I'm going to do each and everything that I can to help support, as bring to awareness, bring to accountability, and bring whatever it is to help the awareness of this brand. But we can't do it without your support. And I would love for you guys to become a listening partner with us. We have it where you can go directly to the website at obnradio.com, click on that donation button, and whatever is laid upon your heart, you can do it. I got a little simple format you can do. You could do $12 a year. You can do $36 a year. You could do $60 a year. That's $1 a month, $3 a month, or $5 a month. Either one, or you could do a one-time deal. And whatever the case may be, really, really consider to be a part of the movement that we're trying to keep going here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We're not flashy. We're not superstars. We're just some good old simple folks that believe in what we're doing, and we try to be consistent with daily content, opinionated content, and outside-the-box logical thinking comments that can make our conference, make our product a better product. As a matter of fact, we are in the zone. This is the first zone for 2024 as we move forward in the new year. I got one more topic I want to break on today, and before we wrap this segment up. The United Football League, of course, that's emergence of the USFL and the XFL. And we saw this coming, but it was made official last week that they are now going to have 8 teams dwindled down to make this uniform league, the United Football League. I like the move. I appreciate the move. And I'm going to try to remember the 8 teams that are making this thing up right off the top of my head. You're going to have Arlington, San Antonio, Houston, Michigan. You got the likes of Memphis, Washington, and let me think, Birmingham and Washington. So those are the 8 cities that will make it up. They eliminated the Pittsburgh Maulers, New Orleans, and what was that? The New Jersey Generals. And not quite sure how they got to the process of their elimination, but they got it more core now as a Midwest travel. Is not going to be as expensive. They got rid of Orlando as well. So trying to see, and now there's a merger between ESPN and Fox with this deal. Do you think this is going to be a good move? It's going to start off on March the 30th, where the season will kick off. I'm going to keep a little interest in it because, of the St. Louis connection, the St. Louis Battle House. I don't even know if I had mentioned them, but yes, St. Louis is definitely going to be part of that movement. And be very interesting to see how this thing merges out. Do you think spring football is here to stay, or do you think it's going to eventually meet its death march to be no more? We'll see how it goes. There have been many that have tried, and many have failed, but it's something unique, especially now since these guys have merged together to make this one cohesive walk. And I'm very interested and intrigued to see how it will do. Let me know, do you guys even care about spring football? I know football is big, but after you get what you get, is enough? Okay, let me detox from football just a little bit, because before you know it, it'll be time for the draft, and we'll start the cycle all over again for the NFL. Do you need a little football break? Let us know. Once again, the X Factor, of course, at the Mike Prince Show, the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Well, I am getting ready to exit stage left. Today is a big day if you're an NFL fan, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, as I am. Steelers find themselves with an opportunity to sneak into the playoffs. Not that they're going to do much damage, but just getting there is half the battle. They play the Ravens. Ravens are resting a lot of people today, which I like the shot and the increase of the Steelers to potentially win. But of course, the Steelers win, they're going to have some help from other factors. But the greatest help will be from that Miami-Buffalo game. Buffalo finds themselves in a very strange situation. If they win, they're number 2. If they lose, they're out. We need Buffalo to lose. I don't know if Miami can do it. All I'm hoping is that the Steelers do their part and they can't worry about anything else but making sure that they dotted their I's and crossed their T's. So it's be a great NFL weekend. The Houston Texans and the Colts will be doing battle. What a job by the Texans this season. Who would have thought that they would be in the position that they're in? But they are here. And it's all going to come to a crescendo this weekend. We'll talk a little bit about that and our championship game on Monday between Michigan and Washington. I'm already on record for pulling with the Washington Huskies to see if they can create the storybook ending for that, as we know as the Pac-12. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Thank you guys so much for joining in with us, walking along with us. Please make a difference. Become a listening partner. Visit that website, obnradio.com. Make your donation today. I've got to go. My time is far spent. So until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.